you to doubt El Danny.
This is Robbie Eagles.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
Hi, this is Mimic. This is 5-time the world's heavyweight champion, the Scrap Daddy himself, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Armour, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah! G'day, this is Big Brody Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term kayfabe?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, and you are locked in
to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H. Undertaker, I'm your maker, bury the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, turn like a muscle. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the vein, you best be getting in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you ain't down with that, then I got two is what you suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, hold another cup. Let's be busy, 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
I was trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. But a square peg in a round hole just never seems to fit. And you
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
It's Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Hello and welcome to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. We are live across the globe right now, and my name is Lachlan Albert. I am joined, as always, by a man who you can see now online wherever you live in the world, Todd Eastman. Todd, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, mate. We are not on Netflix.
Not on Netflix, unfortunately.
No, yet.
Maybe get there. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it has been a big week for pro wrestling. Obviously, you know, Netflix debut for WWE. We're over here with 2 massive New Japan shows back to back. On top of that, Wrestle Radio Australia returning with Making Chicken Salad for 2025. So, you know, all the biggest things in the world are going on. And, I mean, we've got to talk about Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty. We're going to kick off with that. We're going to talk about Raw and NXT on Netflix. We're going to talk about all the other international news. But obviously, Wrestle Kingdom is such a massive show, and we have to give it its due. And if you want to do what Fyrax1776 is doing by joining in the chat with his nonsense, Fyrax, I hope the baby is still asleep and you haven't woken it up with your chaos. You can head on over to twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia and get part of the conversation, because it's a big one. Wrestle Kingdom 19. Kicking it off, let's go from the top with the pre-show IWGP World Heavyweight Title #1 contendership Rambo match being won by Hiroki Goto. I'm not going to go through everybody who was in this match, but it was fairly stacked for one of these. I can if you want me to, Todd.
I put it in there just because I like seeing you. I like seeing you wrestle with that.
I watched it. Every year I watch it, and then at the end I'm like, I need to not bother watching the Rambo next year. And then it's like, oh, but it's #1 contendership, and I watch it anyway. I liked, I think Goto was a great choice for winning. I like that they made Sonata look good while still keeping him away from that title for a little bit longer and keeping, you know, his feud progressing there. I thought Oleg Bolton looked really good in particular. I liked seeing Josh Barnett. I liked Kenta in this. Highlights.
Kenta with the speed walk. was a highlight for me. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, that was a highlight for me.
Do you think?
I love seeing. You know me, I'm a massive mark for Bloodsport and Josh Barnett, so I love seeing Josh Barnett there.
Came out looking like a bear. It was fun. It's a Rambo. It's never going to be earth-shattering, but it was fun. Before we
do you know what? Do you know what the one thing I don't like about it though is that they never tell you when that is starting.
It just happens before the show.
So you just like have to be on the stream and hopefully on the stream at the right time where it pops up. Because it pops up, then it just goes back to the waiting screen again for the next.
However,
you're like, have I missed the start of it? Have I missed? Like half the time you don't know where you are on the shit. Like because for night 2, I missed the opening, the girls match.
Ooh,
I missed that. I missed that. And I tuned in about halfway through the Sons of Texas that had the tag match because I had no idea when it was starting. So here's me thinking, I wonder when because I didn't know it was on the pre-show. The girls' match was on the pre-show.
Yeah.
So at the end of the show, I'm just like, what happened to that international?
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, did they just drop it? What? You know what I mean? But
Well,
I've had to go back and.
I actually have a bunch to say about the match, but
okay, good.
Yeah. So you never know. You may get around to watching it, but that is absolutely true. These pre-show matches, the scheduling of them is not always the easiest thing to catch them live. But once that main show kicks off, it is always an event. And to kick off this event in 2025, Wrestle Kingdom 19, starting with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles on the line in a 4-way ladder match. We had the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida, defending against the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors and Driller Maloney, and Catch 2-2, Francesco Akira and TJP, as well as Ichiban, Sweet Boys, Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles, who won the match to become our new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Well done, boys. Well done. Got to represent the Robbie tonight in the TMDK shirt. We love Ichiban Sweet Boys. There's no way that we're going to be able to be unbiased about this because we love Robbie. We love him teaming with Fujita. They do excellent work. We love seeing them with gold. Good stuff.
Yeah, and we get to brag, well, myself, Mitch, Tim, we get to brag that we faced the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. I mean, we lost to them, but so did all those guys.
Yes.
So I mean,
so did War Dogs, right?
A lot of people have. Yeah. This is like New Japan Pro don't do gimmick matches. They just don't. Not very often at all. So to see them all in that ladder match and doing some of the bumps that they did, because some of those bumps were insane. It was a really good match and a great way to like officially open the show was something like that.
And I really liked the finish as well, having Fujita kind of tie up Akira.
Oh yeah,
in the ladder to grab the title from above him. I thought that was really nicely done.
Yeah, because like you and I have watched enough like ladder matches over the years. I'm like, there's no way this is the finish. Someone's going to come up and stop this. There's no. Oh, he did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
And it makes it feel real in that way. And it's exciting to watch it happen, and it makes the win exciting. So really like that.
Do you know the only thing, and it's my bugbear, I guess, with every ladder match I see, is that half the time you see these guys and they climb up, and it's like they've been through hell, because they have been through hell, and they're like 1 rung, 2 rung, and then you see another dude on the other side just go bolting up the thing to meet him at the top. Like, why don't you just fucking do that to start with? I mean, it's my little bugbear about it.
What I'll say about this ladder match is those ladders looked high. They did. Those weren't the ladders that we're seeing every week. Those were big ladders, and those belts were high up. Yeah,
and let's face it, I love you, Robbie. You're not the tallest guy in the world either, so they would have been a fair drop for him, and he took some hellacious bumps in this. I was just like, it was halfway through it, and I'm like, I really hope that they win this match for the hell that he is putting his body through in this one, because he arguably took the worst bumps of anyone in that match. Like when you look at it as a complete thing, he took some massive bumps, and to get up like that again, like Fuge is like an honorary Aussie. It was just great to see those guys like shine, and in the opening of the show too.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on from there, another title on the line, as there were in a lot of these matches. This time, the IWGP Women's title, with its third champion, Mayu Iwatani, managing to defeat Azumi to retain. Todd, what did you think of this match?
I fucking loved this match. I loved it. I was watching this, and we're in a chat with I was in a chat with Mitch and a couple of the boys from QWA. And we're just like, this is possibly one of the best women's matches I've seen in a long time. Like, the gap between those two and a lot of the other, like, women's wrestling I watch, that was vast. That was an amazing match. I loved it. And considering it only went for like 9 minutes, they put a lot of stuff in that thing. They did not stop.
Yeah, it reminded me of my all-time favorite match, which is Hakuto and Toyota. You watch it and it's just like, it's over already, because they just keep going. So every second of that match is just full to the brim of incredible stuff. I thought this match was phenomenal.
And they do one of those things that, like, I see it a lot, and it annoys me, where it looks like the other person is waiting for the other person to hit them or to do something, where those two just weren't doing that at all. Which is, I love that, because that's how it's supposed to look. I love that.
I will say there was a couple of moments where it looked a little bit like that, and then they would reverse it, right? I was like, it looks like she's just lying there waiting to get splashed. Oh, she raised the leg and kicked her in the face. That's why.
Yeah, that's why she was laying there, yeah.
It's, really great stuff. My little nitpick for this one is, if not Azumi at Wrestle Kingdom, who and when, right? Like, I obviously Mayu is a star. She's incredible, but she's held this belt for a couple of years now. Like, it's been a while since Mercedes had it, which is who she took it off. So,
but then again, man, you had like 5 title changes on this show.
I agree, but I just feel like if Azumi loses here, then I don't know if you can give her another shot at it, and I don't know who else would be next in line. Momo, maybe. Starlight Kid, maybe, but it all feels a little floppy to me, you know? Actually,
but then again, like, if they're booking, like, I don't know who books, like, if Gato books the women's division as well, or if that's booked by Stardom, I don't know. I have no idea about what that is. But it seems very New Japan-y for that next person to lose the title shot, go away, and then come back to win it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I could be wrong, because I'm like very openly a neophyte when it comes to like Joshi wrestling.
And this is part of it.
I know New Japan booking.
Part of it is just that I'm kind of a mark for Azumi. I love the work she's been doing. I think she's like a perfect person to take this title, and I want to see it. And I feel like this was a great opportunity to have it happen on a big stage. So I don't know what the future of that looks like. But, I mean, either way, great match. And to have it come in at, again, under 9 minutes to put that much stuff together, really fantastic. Moving on from that, the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television title was on the line in a 4-way match. The champion Ren Narita had to face Jeff Cobb, El Phantasmo, and Ryohei Oiwa, whose name I always struggle with. Nice to see Ryohei accompanied by Hartley Jackson. Nice to see Jag getting some TV time. El Phantasmo coming out with the win on this one. Which was a little disappointing to me, because I think I like every other person in this match more as the champion. I'm a Jeff Cobb mark through and through. I thought what he did with Oiwa in this match was phenomenal. And Ren Narita I liked as a heel champ. But, you know, we'll see what happens with ELP.
But look, it's a feel good story for ELP.
It is.
Like, just coming back from cancer. Like, wasn't sure if he was ever going to wrestle again, and now he's back, looking really good. I mean, you got to admit he still looked really good with that in that match too. So I mean, that was and the crowd really wanted him to win that. They really wanted him to win it.
I'm kind of admitting that I'm coming at it from not being a fan of him before he went away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I'm just coming at it purely from liking these other guys a whole lot. Like Jeff Cobb's one of my favorite workers in the world. But I think the time was right for Phantasmo to win this one. Like, it's hard to argue with that. I thought the match was fine. I liked the big boy stuff that we got.
Yeah. No, I agree. I must admit there was a really nice shot of Jeff Cobb watching Phantasmo like celebrate with it, where he's just like, you can almost like hear his thoughts going, shit.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? I just like really like that. A nice little touch.
And just some fun stuff like Narita coming in with the board to try to use it as a weapon, and Cobb taking it off him and just breaking it in half. Like, I love that cartoony stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
You know? So that was fun. Moving on, a lumberjack match between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Evil, with Hiroshi Tanahashi coming out as the victor in this one before being challenged to a match for the next night by a certain returning Katsuyori Shibata in an AEW jumper. This match happened.
I'm just not a fan of Evil. I'm just not.
I want to like Evil, but I just can't. I can't find him interesting as a singles guy, you know?
It's funny because my wife was walking in and out of the room when I was watching this, and she was just like, "Oh, is that the Japanese Undertaker?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
you're not entirely wrong."
Early mid-career Japanese Undertaker.
Yeah. So, I understand why they did this, because we all know that Tanahashi's lost a step.
Yep.
And he's sort of like, I don't want to say cruising, but he's sort of like just like slowly working his way into just retirement and being the president. So a match like this is probably a lot less taxing on him. Like, it's a lumberjack match. There's not going to be any really big things on the outside. It's like they dress it up a little bit of like smoke and mirrors when it comes to his matches. So, and I guess he must feel safe working with someone like Evil.
Yeah,
because Evil's not exactly the quickest paced wrestler either.
Yeah, that's right. And Evil's, I don't think, going to do anything that's really dangerous or anything, right? So
no,
you know, he's clearly reliable. It wasn't bad. But it felt kind of half a step behind a lot of other stuff that was going on this show.
Yes, that's perfect analogy.
Yeah. Moving on from that to a match that was not half a step behind is what I'm going to say. The AEW International title and the Never Openweight title were on the line between the International Champion Konosuke Takeshita and the Openweight Champion Shingo Takagi. And in just under 13 minutes, Takeshita became the double champ, and I was enthralled. This was one of my matches of the weekend. I thought this match was everything I want when I watch a New Japan show. When I watch Wrestle Kingdom, this is the match I want to see. Two guys beating the tar out of each other and then kicking out at one just at the right moment to make you jump out of your seat. I love Takeshita. I love Takagi. I think these guys are absolute superstars. And this match completely delivered for me.
I like, because the news came out this week about something as well, and Takeshita has to be the first person now in history to be contracted to 3 different promotions. Because he's contracted to DDT, he's contracted to AEW, and now he's contracted to New Japan. They just they signed a year deal after this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for a guy that's working basically mid-card he's everywhere.
Yes, I think that kind of everyone sees the same potential in him and want to have that organic, like, this is his story from the start to the end. You know what I mean? Because I don't think there's a lot of doubt anywhere that he is going to be a main eventer, right?
Yeah. Like, the only thing that holds him back, I think, in America is just that he can't speak English.
Language, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That alone are the reasons why I was like, geez, I really wish he'd just leave AEW and go to New Japan.
Yeah.
And be on the New Japan roster full time, because I think if that was the case, they would strap an absolute rocket to him.
Oh yeah, and the other thing is he's so full of charisma too, right?
Yeah.
Like, even without speaking, you get the character, and he's convincing, and he's a he's magnetic. You want to watch him. So
it's a lot like Shinsuke when Shinsuke was in New Japan.
Yes.
A different type of like charisma, but it's that same sort of feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I want him to stay in America more, because I think if he can work in both languages, that's going to push him really far, right? I want him to be getting more of that English language practice, I guess.
Yeah, I get you.
But honestly, I just want to see him wrestle matches like this week in, week out.
Yes.
I care about this match slapped. This was a banger. I loved this. Moving on to a match that was a little more disappointing, but not for the reasons you may expect. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight title on the line, El Desperado challenging Doki, and the match ending at just under 5.5 minutes when Doki, after a leap off the top over the ring post to the outside, landed kind of forearm first, and the referee went, "No, match over." I think that it was a great decision by the referee to stop the match, because I noticed exactly the same thing where he landed and you could see his eyes go wide and look at his arm in a way that you go, that's not how you sell that. Like, clearly something was wrong. And the referee just stopped the match. Yep, Despy's the champ now. And Despy got on the mic and said, which I think was excellent, don't owe anyone an apology. When you go full tilt, these are the things that happen. So it's not over, but this is a result that happens in wrestling. And yeah.
Do you think that Despy was supposed to win this?
100%.
You
100%.
do? Okay.
I think that if Despy wasn't supposed to win this, then they would have stopped the match and called it a no contest. Right? The fact that they stopped the match and awarded the title to Despy means I think he was getting the title either way, because I think
but then it's different with. But it's different in New Japan, because New Japan do countouts and DQs as title changes, so maybe their hands were just tied.
Maybe
because a referee stoppage is a referee stoppage. Like, a no contest is still like you lose the title, like, because he can't continue.
That's true. I guess it's also the fact that if he can't continue, if he's clearly going to be out to rehab that arm,
yes,
you're gonna have to crown a champion anyway. It might as well be the guy who's challenging him at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh no, I know. I was just wondering if
yeah, I felt like Despy was going to win this either way. That's where my money was, and I think that they kind of could have weaseled their way out of it and not changed hands. And so that was my leaning, but maybe I'm just too cocky and thought I knew what was going on.
See, it's funny because it feels to me like back a few years ago, the junior heavyweight title scene was absolutely jam packed with killers. Do you know what I mean? Yep. It was like Kushida and blah blah blah, and now it feels like it's the junior heavyweight tag team scene is full of killers, and there's only like 3 or 4 guys in the actual singles competitor. You're like, okay, it's going to be like Takahashi against like Doki, or it's going to be, you know what I mean? It's just going to be 1 or 2 of the 3 people that you see constantly rotating between it. Whereas there's infinite sort of like combinations now in the junior heavyweight tags.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
just thought it was,
Catch 2-2, like, I love that team so much. And, like, the Jet Setters is two guys that could be in position for singles junior heavyweight championship. You know?
Well, look, Kishida's how many times junior heavyweight champion? Yeah.
And I think Kevin Knight would play the role perfectly. So that division is so loaded that it does, you know, make it a bit interesting to watch that junior heavyweight title now with Dookie having been champ. I know that it's pronounced Doki, but I think it's funny to call him Dookie, so I'm going to keep doing it.
You can't rhyme that with Choky.
Yeah, I know. Let's move on and talk about an IWGP Global Heavyweight title match with the champion David Finlay coming up short against Yota Tsuji, the new Global Heavyweight champion. And I thought this match was a lot of fun. I think Tsuji is a great choice for champion. I think that this is looking real good.
Yeah, it feels like this was Yota Tsuji's like consolation prize, because then they don't want to take the belt off Zack just yet.
Yep.
That's what it feels like to me when I watched it. On the other hand, like, it's been a while since I've really watched New Japan, and David Finlay to me now is a star.
Yeah.
Like, that dude could really, like, I don't know when his contract is up, but I've heard rumor it could be soon. That's someone who could really do something in a AEW or a WWE.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
He
hit the top of like the Bullet Club at just the wrong time of New Japan's. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was
New Japan stopped feeling like the thing to watch.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because like he served his apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like he served his time like Jay White did, just Jay White bust out a little before him.
Yep. And even then Jay White, you were like, oh, if that had happened a year earlier, like Jay White would have been in a much better position. Whereas, you know, for Finlay, it just feels like there hasn't been the cred on his name at all when he's been doing excellent work. But look, I think Tsuji's a great pick for champion. That guy's got a great future ahead of him. There's a reason that I think all of us put him in our finals predictions for the G1, and he ended up winning it. Like,
yes,
great worker. I think it is a bit funny that we've now got a global heavyweight title as well as a world heavyweight title, so that we don't have to take one off ZSJ. I think that's very funny. But yeah, like, great.
Well, that was the US heavyweight, wasn't it?
I know. It was
I'm just asking. I'm just double checking.
Yeah. That's the former IWGP US title, which as much as they've had it on Finlay for a little while, they wanted to go, hey, we can have this within Japan. This is not a thing that only Gaijin can wrestle for. Anyway, moving on to a singles match, which would decide a match for night 2. Hiromu Takahashi, Tetsuya Naito in a LIJ war with Naito coming out on top. Naito has lost a little bit of a step, right? I think that may be an understatement. We talked about what could be covered for Tanahashi before, and I think Takahashi covered a lot in this match. But even then, you can see the places where Naito has aged past his prime, and I think it came up even more the following night. But you know, that's kind of neither here or there, right? So we've got to talk. Just looking at this match, I think that the work in the ring was passable. I don't think it was Wrestle Kingdom quality, but what was Wrestle Kingdom quality is the storytelling that they did post-match, with Naito kind of having called the shot that this would be Takahashi's one shot at him and winning, but offering that fist in the air salute showing that, hey, Takahashi's on my level, and Hiromu bows at him first before joining him in that salute. That's some great stuff, right? The match, not as good, but that little storytelling beat shows what Naito has always been best at, because as good as he was in ring, that's the thing that made Naito compelling, was that he understood what made his character different from everyone else on the roster. So I think that is where Naito has always shined, and that's where he shined here. Do you agree?
Yeah. Like low-key, Naito has been my favorite New Japan worker for the past, like, since Nakamura. Like when, because I really started watching around Nakamura. And then, like, I was watching to watch him, and then I saw this guy, and I was like, wow, this guy's fucking sick. And I really got into, like, Naito and Los Goblinobers. That. I really got into that.
LIJ.
It's LIJ, thank you. That's an easy way to do it. I really got into them as a team. It died off a bit when Evil was there, but I was like, oh, don't put him there. Jesus Christ. But, like, Naito was the dude. Naito was the man. Any dude that rocks up in suits, and you can tell when he didn't really give a shit about the match because he never took his t-shirt off.
Yep.
Like, when he takes his t-shirt off, like, oh, okay, he's serious about this one.
Yeah.
And I just...
Cool.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, he wins the title and he didn't give a shit about it. He just kept throwing it around.
Yeah, drag it around, toss it into the ring.
Yeah. I just wish that... And maybe he just is pig-headed or stubborn and doesn't want to admit that he's lost a step. But when he noticed he was losing a step, he would stop using Destino and go, like, work something else out as a finisher for him. Because that is where you can really see that he's lost a step, when he tries to hit that. Because it used to be he could just hit it from, like, a standing
He'd
start.
just soar over.
Yeah, but nowadays, like, he needs a run-up to get to the guy. And the guy really, if you know wrestling and you watch wrestling, you can see the guy have to muscle him over to get that finish to look great.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you can tell that Takahashi loves Naito as much as he does, because he worked his ass off to make him look as good as he possibly could. Like, I like this match. I just wish it wasn't 17 minutes. They could have done the same in 10, and I think they would have been, like, a lot cleaner.
Better off for it, because you don't have that extra 8 minutes of exhaustion on you, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But I loved it. I thought, from, like you said, from a storytelling perspective, yeah. Like, because Takahashi's another one. Like, that entrance was amazing.
Oh,
too.
the big character suit, and he takes the mask off, and he's got the deranged face on. And was it just me, or was he clearly having trouble keeping the weight of that suit upright coming down the ramp?
Yeah, the second night, especially. I don't know if something had worn, maybe something come loose, and he's like, ah. But yeah, you can almost see him laughing too when it was happening. So, but yeah, I loved it. The whole, like, those two, to me, epitomise what LIJ is. Like, I love those two in LIJ. Yeah. The other guys, like, I guess Evil was the only one I really didn't like in it. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, let's talk main event. IWGP World Heavyweight title match that ran for almost 44 minutes, with Zack Sabre Jr. defending against Shota Umino, who is looking mighty thick these days. This was long. I don't necessarily think that that's a terrible thing, but I think that it may have been long for the sake of being long at points. Because as much as I've talked about Shota being the future of NJPW, and I think that ZSJ is a great champion, I don't think this felt like a Tokyo Dome main event heavyweight title match. Because the stakes weren't there. There was no real way that the match the next night was going to be ZSJ versus Ricochet without the title on the line, right? Like, it had to. There was no way that you're going to have Shooter become champ over ZSJ and then have ZSJ wrestle the next night and Umino not, right? Like, it was a foregone conclusion, which really, I think, made the match suffer.
I mean, I love the touch that his dad was the ref. I love that touch. I thought that was a nice little thing. I don't want to say this, but I want to say this. I don't think Zack Saber's style, which I love, and I love his work, and I love his wrestling, I don't think it lends itself to being the main event guy at New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, I love his work. I love that mat-based wrestling. I love the transitions into holds and that. And I think maybe if this was 15, 20 years ago, he would have been perfect for that role.
Yep.
I don't think it so much fits now. Which is a shame. Like, I love the guy.
Like, Tim
I think
Will
his
said in the
styles,
chat, you know, could watch ZSJ 24/7 with the right dance partner. Fully agree, right? Like, I want to watch Zack Sabre Jr. just wrestle guys all the time. But it didn't feel like the right spot.
No, and again, I want to preface this by saying I love Zack Sabre Jr.'s work. I love it. But I think it's better at that 20 to 25 minute mark.
Yeah.
Not 45 minutes, because, and I love, he ground Shota down in this match over time. Like, took him the 45 minutes to ground him down. I don't think that lends itself to being a compelling match when it's that long.
Over 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. And again, it literally pains me to say this, because I love his work. He's one of my favorite workers. I just don't think his style fits his position. And I don't think there's a hell of a lot he can do about that.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed a large portion of the match, but again, I think the match suffered by being what it was where it was. Right? So that is Wrestle Kingdom, but the New Japan Pro Wrestling January early month year calendar is not over, because immediately the night after we've got Wrestle Dynasty, which is co-promoted with CMLL and AEW. And I guess Ring of Honor, because that just is AEW Dark now. Right? So let's talk Wrestle Dynasty, kicking off with the pre-show match that Todd didn't get to see, the International Women's Cup final four-way match with Athena, Persephone, Momo Watanabe, and Willow Nightingale. This one ending with Momo getting the win after a distraction on the outside to cause Athena to get pinned. Oh my goodness. Couple of things about this. Every woman in this match delivered, which was excellent, right? We've talked about Willow just being fantastic and absolutely at the top of her game. Momo is one of the best big women in Japan. She does that host job in an awesome way. Athena's been on top of stuff for a long time, and seeing her move at full speed is really nice. Like, she just absolutely blitzes through this match. The highlight for me was Persephone, because it felt like every time she did a spot, it cut 30 days off the how long till Persephone gets an NXT contract. Like, she is just... The CMLL fans have to know that she's getting signed to NXT, right? She's got the look, she's got the ring work, she's got the charisma, she's got the shouting during a match that's going to work perfectly for American fans. She reminds me of Raquel Rodriguez with more charisma. I think that there is a big future for Persephone in the US, and if AEW doesn't jump at her soon, I think that WWE will, based on this match. Really enjoyed it. I liked the finish, even if it is, you watch New Japan to hope that you don't get cheap distraction finishes, and that's kind of what this was. But it is what it is. Momo got to hit Athena with a baseball bat.
That was to set something else up at Stardom, isn't it? There's a tag match at Stardom. Yeah.
Correct. With I cannot remember her name at the moment. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's to set up Athena and
Thekla. What's her name?
Thekla. Yeah, that's right.
I have no idea how to pronounce it. That's why I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. But overall, I thought the match was really good, and I think that if you take away the ending, the match is actually better. I think it was a kind of a wet fart of an ending a little bit on a really quite good four-way match. I think worth a watch, personally. Moving on from that, another pre-show match with the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles on the line. The Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, managing to defeat House of Torture in the form of Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. This was a tag match. I'm
starting to decode your your criticism now.
I think it was fine. Nothing to write home about. Do you agree?
I wish Sammy would stop doing that tongue thing. Just stop doing it, bro.
He gets mighty high for that swanton.
Yes, he does. Like, Sammy's an awesome worker. And, like, literally the only thing I don't like about him is, like, just every now and then, shut your mouth and just don't put your tongue out. And you'll be fine.
Yep, that's it.
But, yeah, do you know what, though? One thing I did notice, I never really noticed how skinny Dustin Rhodes' legs are.
Oh, yeah, he's got thin pins.
Like, it's an upper body business, bro. Like, that boy has... I don't know if he does leg day but wowee. Honestly...
on leg day.
Yeah, honestly, my biggest problem with this is, like, I just hate what's happened to Sho.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Sho was my guy. Like, out of that tag team, Sho and Yo, Sho was the guy I was like, this guy could be the next big thing. And to see him just, like, wallowing... And I say that the most respectful way in the House of Torture is just... It's frustrating for me. Because I think he could be a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I fully agree. Let's move on to the main card of Wrestle Dynasty, kicking off with the Lucha Gauntlet match. This one had El Desperado, Hechier... Why can I never say this one right?
Hechicero.
Thank you. Kosei Fujita, Mascara Dorada, Master Wato, Soberano Jr., and Titan, all defeated by Taji Ishimori. I didn't mind this. I like a bit of lucha.
Yeah, you do like a bit of lucha.
Phenomenal, but I like a bit of lucha.
Yeah, you enjoy the luch.
Yeah. I can go for some luch.
Yeah. I was like... It popped me to see because Kozai come out. I was like, geez, why are they having him come out after that match the night before? Yeah, like, give the dude a break.
Insane match, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, and I think most of my match was just me wanting to see Master Wato get hit by people.
Yes, that's very true.
Massively not a fan of him. Like, just lay him out. Just keep hitting him. But, yeah, Taiji Ishimori is... Like, he is just the tits, isn't he? He's such a good worker.
Great. He's great. I like Titan a lot. I think he's really good. And I always enjoy seeing Mascara Dorada. It's a lot of the time, I think, and I know it's the second Mascara Dorada, but I think he gets overshadowed by Mascarita, which can be a bit of a shame because he is a good worker. So, my 2 cents there. Moving on to a time limit draw at 5 minutes, an exhibition match between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Katsuyori Shibata, and I think it is a great call to have these guys come out and put on a show and not wrestle for more than 5 minutes. As much as I love them both, I think that keeping them to 5 is a great call.
It's definitely New Japan putting their foot down, though, isn't it? He'll go out there at AEW and wrestle like 20-minute matches, 15-minute matches, whereas he'll go back to Japan and Japan's like, no, we told you, mate.
Yeah.
You're doing exhibition matches and 5 minutes, and to be in there with the president, and so he won't fucking go any. Like, he wasn't going to pull the shit he pulled last year with Tanahashi. Do you know what I mean? Where, like, at the start of the match, he goes, no, this is just a normal match now. Don't worry about the exhibition thing. Like, he wasn't going to pull that with... yeah, he wasn't going to pull that with Tanahashi.
Nope. Yeah, yeah, great stuff. I think that these guys are special attractions, and this keeps them a special attraction. I think that's a really good way to put it. And it gave an opportunity for Tanahashi to then be at the commentary desk to have some really important moments as a non-wrestler throughout the show, which I think is great.
Yeah, which we really, like, in some cases, has to learn how to, like, have a bit of a poker face.
Yes. Yes. New Japan Strong Women's title and Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's title on the line next up. Mercedes Moné, the NJPWs Strong Women's Champion, taking on Mina Shirakawa, the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Champion. And in 14 minutes, Mercedes Moné becomes the new British Women's Champion and retains the Strong title. I think that Mercedes has been having better matches consistently, is how I'm going to word that. And I think Mina Shirakawa is bloody great. She gets every part of it. She performs really well. I think was a great partner for Moné here.
I'm probably not the best judge because I just don't like Mercedes Moné. I just don't. I'm just... For someone coming from WWE, you would think that promos would be a strong suit of hers, and they're possibly her worst part.
Yep.
Like, nothing makes me want to change the channel more than when she starts talking on those shows. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm a big promo guy. Like, I love promos. But just everything, like, on that side seems, like, overly rehearsed, overly... Like, I don't believe anything she says.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Even her laugh is fake. You know what I mean? Like, when she laughs, I'm like, that's yuck. The match itself, great. Mina Shirakawa is amazing. She's such a good worker. Such a good worker. Like, I cannot wait to see, like, her working in AEW more with, like, Statlander and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think those two can have some absolute bangers. And her and Tony.
Yes. Shinakara and Deeb. Let's do it.
Yes. Like, there's a lot of that division that need good partners and good matches. They just need good matches. They need good matches, and they need time to have these good matches, which is something that's really been lacking a little bit in AEW when it comes to the women's division. They don't get a hell of a lot of time to be able to put on. And when they do get that time, they show it. They show that it's a good investment in time to give certain workers that leeway. And I don't know why they strayed from that, because back when they had, like, Britt Baker and what's her name, Mexican worker.
Why am I blanking on this?
Yeah, I know. Yes, you're the one I expect to know these names.
Yeah, why is it gone from my head?
I'm the one with the multiple concussions here. You're the one that's supposed to know. Rosa.
She was the butterfly in Lucha Underground.
Thunder Rosa. Thank you, Andy Fazaria. Oh dear, and like, yeah, it's I'm never gonna like that match. I'm never gonna like that decision to put her over in that match, because I just don't. I'm not a fan. Which is like, it's again, that's what wrestling is. It's flavors of ice cream. That's just not a flavor I enjoy. I understand that some people do really like her, and I'm happy for them. I'm not one of those people.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. She's had great matches, but I don't find myself getting excited for her matches. But I think Mina Shirakawa is excellent, and I really enjoyed this match, I think largely because of what Mina put on. Moving on, some men's slap and meet. David Finlay and Brody King going at it. David Finlay getting the win here over the big boy Brody King. I thought this was a great way to keep David Finlay looking like a powerful threat after not getting the win on night one.
Yes, I very much agree. When this match started, I'm like, I really don't know. I hope they really don't have him like losing twice.
Yeah.
Like back-to-back nights. I mean, the easy way to tell the story because he's tired from the night before. And Brody King was a really good dance partner for him, I thought. So I really did enjoy this match. I thought it was, 13 minutes well spent.
Again, like, this is the kind of match I like watching the January New Japan shows for. Like, you get these, like, big, hard-hitting, strong style, matchups, and I really enjoyed it. Moving on to one I enjoyed a little less, Shota Umino and Claudio Castagnoli both showed up to work and did their job, right? I think that you can't say that this match was bad, but I don't think either of these guys were coming out here to steal the show, is kind of the take I had. I think that on their worst days, these are two of the most skilled pro wrestlers in the world. So you're not going to have a bad match from them unless they're specifically trying to have a bad match, which they're not. They know it's a big show and they're going to put on a match. But I think if this had been the main event or for a title, they both would have put a lot more into it and that would show. Whereas this match was just kind of there to make sure that nobody thought Shooter was bad just because he lost in the main event the night before. And I think Claudio, as someone who was AEW champ for a long time, I would like to see him not be an obstacle to show that you're still strong. But I wanted more from this. I really wanted more from this.
Yeah, and they tried to tell the story of it being that Claudio had been sent over there by Moxley to teach his old protege a lesson. That was the story of the match. But you didn't really feel any anger or heat from Claudio. You just felt like Claudio was clocking in.
Yep. It really felt like clocking in. Yeah. Anything more to say about that?
No, unfortunately. It wasn't. I don't think it was the best. I don't think it was the best weekend for Shota Umino, unfortunately.
No, who had a great weekend? Konosuke Takeshita in an AEW international title and never openweight title match against Tomohiro Ishii. Once again, the Stone Pitbull always delivers on his character, and Takeshita is a force to be reckoned with. Loved this. Loved it. Thought it was bloody fantastic. We'll probably watch it again. Loved it.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
He's like on the opposite end. He had a great weekend.
Yeah, that is a dude who does not punch a clock. Like,
no.
He works his damn ass off when he gets in there.
Yes.
Part of me hopes that is him just punching the clock and he's got something all in the reserve. I don't know that it'd be possible, but damn, man puts on a match. After this, here we go. IWGP Tag Team Title 3-way match for the vacant titles. You've got LIJ, Hiromu Takahashi, and Tetsuya Naito, who had just gone to war with each other the night before. Very slow war, but war nonetheless. The United Empire in the form of Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb. And the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Andy Fazaria says, I don't know why Ishii stopped being a big deal in New Japan. Every match he has is a baller. Yeah, I wonder if it just feels like they can't make him a title threat anymore because he's been a title threat so many times without really winning a lot of titles or holding them for all that long. Yeah.
And it's also the fact that eventually these guys have to step aside so the next crop can come through.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're just going to have a logjam of people.
Yeah, exactly. And Ishii's always there to have good matches when you need him. And that's a great example. Anyway, Young Bucks are IWGP Tag Champs.
You really sold that, didn't you, brother?
Yeah, I'm thrilled about it, mate. I love Jeff Cobb. I don't know that I've got many more positives here. Hiromu's fun. Yeah.
I honestly, I was actually in shock that they won it. I didn't think that they would win that match. I thought the reason that the third team just happened to come into that match was like, okay, there's someone who can take the fall that aren't the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and like obviously they've got something planned with New Japan. That's why they're obviously doing this to go forward and that. And like what I don't understand is if they're healthy and they're good enough to be able to work, then why aren't they working for the people that paying them the most?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Credit to Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb, who I think did a lot of work to keep this match going forward. I think that as the heavies in this match, they were really good springboards for the Bucks and for Hiromu. And Naito was, there. But obviously we talked about the fact that he's not performing the way he used to perform. And so that left Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb to be kind of literally launching pads for the Bucks and Takahashi, which I think they did a great job of. So credit to them.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like the Young Bucks, what they do is really good. It's just that they do the same thing in every match.
Yes.
And that's the difference. I know they had that interview. They said they purposely were boring for the last couple of months because they didn't want to blah, blah, blah. And that's cool. But there's still, like, I don't see any more, aside from their costumes and their outfits, I don't see any other evolution in them, like their working style.
It's the same match still.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's still the same match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Moving on from there, the IWGP Global Heavyweight title was on the line once again with Yota Tsuji defeating Jack Perry to retain the title. I didn't like this very much, unfortunately.
No. This was, it was like at the end of this, I'm just like, I wonder if, like, AEW were going, hang on, I think we might have been sold a bill of goods here with Jack Perry. I don't quite think he is the future we thought he was.
Feels very similar to Shooter on this show, right? Like they were the same role of this guy's the future, and they show up and put on a match that is good, if not New Japan Pro Wrestling January quality. Right?
Like, and I know they couldn't have done it because of like he has the TNT championship at the moment, but Yota Tsuji against Daniel Garcia, that would have been an absolute cracker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like Jack Perry seems like a sports entertainer.
Yeah.
Not a wrestler.
Yeah, it's not the company for him. New Japan.
No, because I don't see Jack Perry as a work rate wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's what New Japan is. It's a work rate company. Like, come in, like, strap your wrestling boots on.
Yeah.
Because that's what the next people did.
Yep. Let's talk about that then. I'm going to say that I think I probably liked this match less than a lot of people. I'm going to get that out of the way first. And I still think it is a near perfect match. Right? I think this match was excellent. This is Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd, who put on a little over half an hour of goodness here. Gabe Kidd coming in, representing New Japan, throwing every weapon he can get his hands on, piles of chairs and tables, and so much blood. Lots of blood early on, with Kenny being, classic Wrestle Kingdom style Kenny, and it was good. It was really, really good, and I think Gabe Kidd shone here like a diamond, right? We all know what Kenny can do. We've literally seen Kenny wrestle a sex toy, right? Like, he can work an inanimate object. We know that. But then Gabe Kidd comes in and just delivers pathos, right? Like, he's actually performing here. He's not just wrestling, he is performing. And I think so much of what he did was absolutely excellent. The thing that I felt was missing here was a moment of him outright dismissing the weapons and the assistance from the outside. Like, I know he's got Connors and Maloney there. I wanted him to go, no, I need to beat him with strong style and have a weapon offered to him and send it away. That's the bit that would have 100% sold me on this match. So I wonder if they're keeping that in their back pocket for another meeting. But Kenny Omega's Kenny Omega. He's wrestling in the Tokyo Dome. You know, Gabe Kidd over-delivered here. This was phenomenal.
Yeah, but you also got to think, like, even though he came in with the whole New Japan thing, like, he's still a heel in Japan.
Yep.
So, like, and using the weapons is kind of what you have to do if you're a heel there. Like, to do that. So the only way you're going to beat someone like Kenny Omega is eventually you're going to have to do that. I love Gabe Kidd. He's got the banter, he's got the attitude. He reminds me of the evolution of someone like a Stan Hansen.
Yep.
Like a modern day. This is what Stan Hansen would have been like if grew up in this time, but with better promo, better chat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Absolutely loved it. Yeah, like Kenny made Gabe, like helped make Gabe. Like Gabe's great. Don't get me wrong. But Kenny, like, really went out of his way to help make this guy.
Yes.
Which is and just put him side. Like that match is up there with Kenny and Omega, Kenny and Okada. You know what I mean? All the great Kenny matches from New Japan. This has to be one of those ones where we look back in like 5 years and go, that was one of the matches as well. I really, really enjoyed this match. To the point where I'm just like, because I knew that the main event was after this, I thought, wow, they've fucked up booking this card. That should have went last.
For the record, this is currently on Cage Match by fan ratings, the number 24 match of all time. It's sitting at an average rating of 9.66. Right? Like, obviously, there's a little bit of inflation that goes on with Cage Match and people give it, you know, really high ratings. But there's always also going to be those people giving low ratings. And the fact is, 557 people logged onto Cage Match to say this was 10 out of 10. Right?
Mm.
And as much as we can say, you know, that blah, 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 it says something. This was a great match. Let's see what the people in chat had to say. Tim Wilkes says 9.9 out of 10. That's all I feel I need to say. Mario Magazine said match of the weekend and Gabe is a made man now. And Andy Forzaria said this match gave me a pro wrestling boner. It's everything I love. How's Kenny reminding everyone that he's probably the best in-ring worker ever after 13 months out just because he can? Yeah, banger. Absolute banger. And
I will say, like, I prefer this Kenny to the one we've seen over the last 3 years or 5 years.
Yep.
Like, even today, I don't know if you've seen it yet, the promo he gave on Dynamite.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was none of the little, you know how he's got that way, and I know Jim Cornette gives him shit for it. The singy promo where everything he does, and he talks like this. There was none of that in this promo today. It was just like, it was a little bit of it because that's just the way he talks. It's the Canadian, like,
it's the cadence that he talks.
Yeah, it's a bit of the because I'm not sure if he's a little bit French Canadian or not, but he has that sort of like almost French, like Ontario sort of like lilt, where they talk with a little bit of a French tinge to it. Still a little bit of that, but it was more like this is like the essence of the promo was like I nearly had everything taken away from me. I'm not mucking around anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and like put on the best matches I possibly can from now on. Yeah. And like that was like that promo. I'm just like, where was this guy for 5 years? I know, like obviously he was maybe going, look, I can't. If I just come out from the start and go, I am the star of this, blah blah blah. Everyone's going to go, okay, he's the EVP. He's just putting himself over.
Mm.
Whereas now I think he's like, no, fuck the, I am. Yeah, I am the best wrestler in the world. I probably should be doing this.
He's Kenny fucking Omega.
Yeah. So I like today's promo on Dynamite. I loved. I thought it was great. I hope this is the way they keep going with Kenny, because if it is, then sign me up for that, because that's great. And this match was another reason. Like, I hope that translates to the matches now he starts having in AEW as well. And also with Gabe Kidd, the follow up with Gabe Kidd now is going to be the most important thing. What they do with him now.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, something had to follow Omega and Kidd, and it was Zack Jr. and Ricochet for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. ZSJ retained, predictably, and I think it was a really good version of what you imagine Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ricochet to be, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't think there was anything massively unexpected here.
Did they work each other at World Series here?
I believe they did.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think that was that the Brisbane match. It might have been.
I think it might have been. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Let me do some quick googling. But
yeah, well, you do that, and I'll do a little bit of talking while you're doing that. What I said for Wrestle Kingdom, this is probably the perfect example of that, because this match went for 21 minutes, and it was great. Showcased both of the guys' like skills and what they do. It was Zack going, okay, I know you're a high flyer, so I'm going to try and ground you as much as possible. And every time they get a chance, like Ricochet was like a caged animal. As soon as he was let loose, he started flying around the joint. Even the parts where like they were both sitting there and like Ricochet wasn't giving up. He's like, is that all you got? He's like, I thought you're the best. Come on, let's go. Like stuff like that. The little things was really, really good. But again, 21 minutes in and out, and they told a great story.
Yep. I can tell you that Zack Sabre Jr. and Ricochet have wrestled one-on-one 8 times. Before this match at Wrestle Dynasty, the last one-on-one match they had was in Brisbane for the World Series Wrestling Heavyweight Championship and the PWG World title. And then the last singles match they had before that was World Series Wrestling in Victoria. Okay. So out of the 8 matches that they've ever had, one was in Brisbane, one was in Melbourne, and they were the last 2 before this. Technically, they were both in the all-in casino gauntlet match, but
yeah,
you know, that is what it is. You know, a worthy main event of the show that unfortunately had to follow kind of a work of art, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was a bad way to... Sorry, it wasn't a bad way to follow something, but it's an example of how following isn't always good. But a good example of following is following Wrestle Radio Australia by heading to our social media. We're Wrestle Radio Australia on Facebook. We're at Wrestle Radio AU on all the Instagram and the X and the whatever. So follow us on all those places. Make sure you're here at twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia and hit the follow button so you can get notified whenever we go live, because we are keeping this train rolling. After the break, we've got a bunch of news to talk about, including the Aussie stuff that's coming up, but also the international news with WWE making its debut on Netflix. So if you want to hear that, you've got to stick around while we talk about it right after this.
To take you home.
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end, no safety or surprise. The end, I'll never look into your eyes again. Can you picture what we'll be? Slowly murderous and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a desperate land.
Kick off your AEW Grand Slam weekend the right way with an unforgettable night of wrestling action at the iconic Eaton's Hill Hotel in Brisbane on Friday, February the 14th, as Pro Wrestling League and Renegades of Wrestling present the Australian Wrestling Super Show. With an open door policy, expect the unexpected. You never know who might appear to shake things up. Whether you're a long-time fan or new to the Australian wrestling scene, this is the perfect way to start your weekend off with a bang. Get your tickets now from oztix.com.au and don't miss this incredible night of Australian wrestling action.
Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. We are back, and I am still Lachlan Albert, and that is still Todd Eastman, but we are now joined by the brain behind WrestleBrania, Geoff Setti. Geoff, it's good to see you, brother.
It's good to see you both. There was something I was meant to do. Oh, yeah!
Yeah, thanks for the clap, mate. Always got to get it in. Well, let's
something that many a woman has said to Geoff.
Generally, but Todd, the thing is, it's the wrong part of that statement. It's not always trying to get it in. No, it's thanks for the clap. I mean,
that's what I said.
Look, I wasn't expecting that, and you know what else I wasn't expecting? A new WWE Women's Champion on Friday Night SmackDown. That's right, Tiffany Stratton has cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase to become the new WWE Women's Champion. Geoff, what's your take on the Tiffy time being now?
I think the Tiffy time's about 4 months too late. I think they should have pulled the trigger on this a long time ago. And I'm saying that because that briefcase is really becoming a bit of a shit prop. And the will they, won't they, yeah, they're going to, no, they're not. That's getting really, really tired. I kind of like what they did with McIntyre this year on the men's side. But I think Tiffany Stratton is great and hilarious and really fun. And I think having she and the greatest of all time be the women's champ on the two women's champions on SmackDown, that's just terrific.
Yeah, Todd?
Yeah. Like, I gotta admit, I thought it was great because I didn't see it coming. I was just like, oh great, another fucking, this is the way they're going to do it again, just to keep like Nia with the belt, Nia with the belt, blah blah blah. And then when she did the hit with they worked it out nicely too, because you thought even after she hit it with the briefcase, you still thought, oh maybe they're just going to finish the match now and she's going to lose to, and they're going to set something up going forward. But then for Tiff to still sort of be heel by taking out Bianca as well, and then hitting the finish. Great. And I know it was good because I wasn't watching SmackDown and 3 different people messaged me to say, did you see that?
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Let's talk about, look, while we're talking about what's going on in WWE, let's talk about some big WWE stuff that's happened, and that's WWE debuting on Netflix. Doo-dum. You know, the thing that everyone's got a subscription to. So it's now really, really easy to see WWE no matter where you are in the world. WWE Raw had a huge debut episode on Netflix that I think did an awesome job of introducing new fans on what to expect by not having a wrestling match start for the first 35 minutes of the show. I think that was really important to communicate what Raw is to people, that you don't start wrestling until past half an hour in. You don't like that one, Todd?
No, just like, I swear to God, like, X just became the host of the show for a second.
Wasn't reading a thing on X, I'll tell you. That was
why don't you just
awesome, man.
Why don't you just pull out your fucking stopwatch while you're at it?
Yeah, look, The Rock was there, Undertaker was there, that bleach blonde bastard was there, and the crowd booed the hell out of him, which I was proud to see. That was very nice. But on top of that, there were some title changes, which we'll talk about quickly. First of all, the one that I think we're all most excited about was Rhea Ripley defeating Liv Morgan for the WWE Women's title. She's just the best, right? And it's so obvious to have her be champion. And if you're putting it forward to a new audience that we want to convince you to watch wrestling, seeing Rhea Ripley become champion on that first episode, it's so natural. Obviously,
not only that, like, you see her become champion, and then straight after, and I know that there were some people that were like, oh, he's stealing her spotlight. No, The Undertaker came out and basically gave her the rub.
Yeah.
Like when it came, and I'll admit, for about 3 minutes there, I was one of those people, because like when he started coming out, I'm like, and she talks to the camera like, oh, he's gonna stop and gonna dap her up and then go to the ring, and he just rode right past her. I'm like, motherfucker, are they doing this to her? This is fucking. I'm going full fucking IWC for about a good 2 minutes, until they did that bit where, like, you could tell he said to her, "Turn your head back to the camera." And they did that, both turned together, and it was like he made her female Undertaker. I love that.
And that's not unintentional either. Like, hopefully it's good in her Undertaker, but no, that's not unintentional. Now, as you guys know, I don't have the internet in my new apartment yet, so it has been me watching clips of stuff. But you can bet I watched the shit out of that match. And also out of the shenanigans afterwards. Just wonderful. Really, really good to see Rhea as champ again. Now, I enjoyed Liv Morgan's championship this time. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Really fun. She did some amazing work. Her in-ring has really caught up with her promo and things like that. But, yeah, it was Rhea's moment, and the rub from Taker was great. Yeah, that's exactly what I would have called it as well, Todd. It was the rub.
Now, they did mention during this that The Undertaker main evented the first episode of Raw. So, quick pop quiz. Do either of you know who his opponent was in the main event of the first episode of Raw? Thank you, Jeff. It was Damien Demento. So, don't know why they didn't bring that up, that great piece of history.
Because Monday Night Raw wasn't quite Monday Night Raw when it first debuted.
That's exactly
It was more Monday Night Rampage.
Yeah, it was. They had Rob Bartlett as one of the co-hosts, and every few minutes, Vince, Randy, and Rob would go uncooked, uncut, uncensored, and really soon you could just hear the three of them going uncooked, uncut, Like they stopped airing really quickly. And Vince, like Rob Bartlett only lasted about 3 or 4 episodes. Wasn't around.
Yeah, because every second or third person, Rob would be like, "Who's this guy?" Like, dude, you're fucking a commentator. Know the guys' names.
He was a stone throw away from asking how much people weighed. Let's be honest. So, you know.
Moving on from that, though, we do have, the first match to appear in the Netflix era of Raw, and that was Roman Reigns defeating Solo Sikoa for the Ulufala, and the presentation by Paul Heyman being interrupted so that The Rock could put the Ulufala around the neck of Roman Reigns. This is, I think, a great way to show new fans this storyline that's been going for a long time and that I still probably see going on for a little longer. Not that that's a bad thing, but that I think they will need to do something interesting to keep this story alive, right?
Yeah, it was funny because I was like, okay, Heyman's going to turn. Heyman's going to turn because The Rock's told him to do it.
Yeah.
And then that didn't happen. And then The Rock came out, I was like, okay, looks like The Rock has gone, okay, if we're going to Netflix, I guess I have to go back to being babyface because this is the biggest audience and the biggest audience knows me as a babyface. So if I come out and started like insulting people left, right and center, might not be the most conducive thing to building a new audience. Because let's face it, as big an audience as WWE is, they never had the reach as what they've got now with Netflix.
Correct.
Like to the point where like my wife didn't even. My wife came up to me. She goes, "Did you know they're on Netflix? WWE's on Netflix now?" Like, what do you mean? She goes, "Well, like it's on the front page. It's every time I flick to something, there's Cody Rhodes and like that, and like because we have separate accounts because we do not watch the same shows a lot." Like if I don't want my algorithm to be strictly murder mysteries and documentary, so we don't have the same algorithm at all. But she's getting all of the WWE stuff, so they're them pushing it to every algorithm they can. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from with your criticisms about that episode, Lachlan, but I also see it from the other side.
Let me be clear that it's not criticism for the sake of saying that they made bad choices. It's criticism of whether I enjoyed it or not, right? And a lot of it's not for me. It's for the new audience.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah. Like that they could have done with another match or two. Like that was 4 matches in 3 hours. I know they said it was going to be a PLE, but let's not make it exactly like a PLE. They could have done, but what they did with those vignettes, at least for us, the international audience, because we don't get the ads, is that they showed vignettes and they told stories and they told you what the storyline was going and what this was happening with this person, and then like because Gunther wasn't on the show, which I think was a misstep. I think Gunther should have been on that show in some way, shape, or form. They still told his story a little bit, and just the fact that they had Travis Scott come out with Jay, and Travis Scott didn't look like the star.
Yeah,
tells you the way that they. Like I watched that and I messaged Welsh and I were talking online while we were watching it. I'm like, how do you not strap a rocket to Jey Uso after watching that entrance?
Yeah,
and how over he is in that crowd. That was possibly too. That venue was worth giving up Staples to AEW to be able to run that first show out of. Because the technological advancements at that Intuit Dome, some of the shots that they had, especially with Jay, I don't know if that was a drone shot, but when Jay was walking and the drone shot went around the whole crowd in the circle, that was an amazing shot.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really impressed with the staging of it. So as you mentioned, Jey Uso beat Drew McIntyre after being accompanied by Travis Scott to the ring, who was doing something insane where he was like having incense smoke come out of his mouth. That was really impressive. We also had in the main event...
I don't know anything about that. I have never heard of this person. and I have no idea what he was doing. Please continue.
Thanks.
It's because it wasn't a vape, that's why.
In the main event, CM Punk defeated Seth Rollins and had an awesome interaction with Kieran Culkin, who acknowledged the fact that he'd won a Golden Globe the night before and was celebrating by coming to Raw, which I thought was wonderful. We also had John Cena come out and declare that he will be entering the Royal Rumble. Hulk Hogan got booed, which was excellent. The match was covered in sponsors, including a nice big middle of the canvas Fortnite ad, which I thought was very funny, and new referee uniforms with a nice black polo shirt going on. Ryan William Boyle in the chat says, I'm surprised that they showed Zilla Fatu in the crowd during Jey Uso. Very interesting to note. But yeah, a lot going on for this first episode of Raw. Jeff, you mentioned that you've only seen clips of it. Did you get the vibe that this era is going to be massively different? Or from outside of watching the show, did it seem like it was another episode of Raw?
Sorry, I think you asked me a question. I
Yes.
haven't watched the show.
No, he said from the clips you saw. He's saying from the clips you saw online.
The audio's been really bad for the last minute or so, so hotspotting makes life difficult. From the clips I've seen, it looks like the crowd were just eating everything up. So the crowd have definitely added something to it, but otherwise it looks like a normal episode of Raw in some ways. Certainly, as Todd's mentioned, the match count was down way, way lower than normal. I've also read that The Rock kind of felt out of place considering the canon they were building, as you referenced earlier, Lachlan, and that's no criticism of the show. It's just a criticism, a little bit of the creative decision. But The Rock's also the guy that if he's getting booed, he's smart enough to just dive back into the character he was and say, I sucked you all in, look at what I've done to Roman Reigns, he believed me. Blah, 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 blah.
I tell you what I do want to see now, after watching this. I was just like, okay, so probably not going to go Rock and Roman. Probably not. He sort of mended fences with Cody, so we're probably not going to see Rock and Cody. Rock and Kevin Owens would be fucking great.
I was going to say that. Rock and
Kevin's got the motivation.
Owens has fought Austin and The Rock at WrestleMania.
That's what I was thinking too. Not to mention, like, he's got the motivation. It's like, oh, you forgave Roman. Like, same motivation he's got about Cody. Same motivation he's got. Him and The Rock promoing off with each other. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when if they're on Netflix and they decide they're sort of going to loosen the reins a little bit, which is like, I think Hunter even mentioned this in the post-match press conference, because they said they were talking about someone saying terms now, and Hunter just goes, look, people know what babyface and heel is. People know what a shoot is. People know what a work is. People know what, we're not, everyone knows what this is, so we're not lying anymore. We're just going to talk the way we talk. That's the way this is now. Everyone knows what this is, so why would we try and insult their intelligence? Mm-hmm. So, being that that's happened makes things more interesting when it comes to those sort of promos.
It doesn't surprise either, because remember that Trips was the guy with Michaels that kind of got Vince to loosen his very, very tight grasp, and that led to the most successful era in wrestling. Surely Hunter Levesque remembers that. He's gonna try and get that back, and if that means making this kind of thing, that's great. Good on him. Yeah, we all know what a shoot is. We all know what a work is.
To take us a little bit off topic here, I think it's interesting to look at the way Netflix is showing some people who they consider to be top stars. So when you choose a profile icon for your Netflix account, you can choose different characters from a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
And they've selected a handful of Raw superstars that you can make your profile icon. So I think it's really interesting to look at who they've chosen. Your options are Roman Reigns, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Rey Mysterio, CM Punk, and Rhea Ripley. Right? So
tell me, is Center Screen just blank?
No, there is actually a picture of John Cena, I believe it or not.
Only at the end of the year it goes blank.
Yeah, that's right. But I think it's really interesting to look at that as who kind of Netflix is presenting as, I guess, the main characters of Raw, right? And those are names that all make sense. They're either legends who have a very distinct look with guys like Rey Mysterio, or they're current top guys with Cody and Roman and Rhea and Bianca, or they're people who obviously Netflix thinks are marketable stars from the WWE, and that's Liv Morgan. I think is the most interesting one there. That they've got her as a profile icon. I think that's really interesting. So yeah, just thought I would bring that up. I think that was a nice bit of information there. Let's talk about the other show that came onto Netflix, and that's NXT with New Year's Evil. So to quickly run through results, we have kicking off the show a new NXT Women's Champion in the form of Julia, as well as that a North American #1 contendership fatal 4-way match had Stephanie Vaquer defeat Kalani Jordan, Cora Jade, and Lola Vice. We had Lexis King defeating the Heritage Cup champion Charlie Dempsey to win the trophy, and an NXT Triple Threat Championship match with Oba Femi defeating Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe to become the new NXT champion. This was a stacked episode of NXT, obviously for the Netflix debut. I was also shocked at, there is, I will say, another match missing from this rundown, which was a 6-woman match that was Fatal Attraction versus Shotzi and the girls.
Sorry, I only put the matches in there that had changes or established. Do you know what I mean? I didn't do it on purpose.
So one thing that I want to mention there is I think obviously NXT's got an absolutely stacked women's roster, and it showed that by the first 3 matches having nothing but women, and in fact 12 women wrestling across the first 3 matches of NXT on Netflix. That's massive. I think that was...
And it also did a massive number on CW. I saw today. They did nearly a million on CW.
Yep. The show ended with The Rock cutting a really pointless promo, which for everyone in the audience I'm sure was awesome. And it paid off the storyline that we saw with Eddie Thorpe, where he lied about getting attacked so that Ava Raine would give him a title match. And so Oba Femi getting outed as a triple threat, he pushed Eddie Thorpe down the stairs because he knew that Ava Raine would not care. And he fully admitted to it. I thought that was excellent. I thought that was like, oh, you're going to be the boy who cried wolf, huh? We'll get this into you. I thought that was really funny. And it built into Oba Femi as a character who is just like, he's here to win. And if he's going to bend the rules if he needs to, because he's a beast who's going to win. I thought this was really good. Lexis King, huge pop, defeating Charlie Dempsey in what I thought was a really good match. This was a great NXT show.
Yeah, you and I mentioned that. Go on, Jeff.
Sorry, I was.
You go.
I was going to say
you go, mate.
Clearly. Thank you. They clearly put the people that they know can put the show together really well. In this one, Lachlan, I'm making you break for some reason. I don't know why. It looked like you were pissing yourself for a second there. Anyway, I'll continue. This is not a visual medium. We're still on a podcast. I really, really liked what I read about this show and everything. Everyone is saying it's really good until the final segment. Then it's complete shite. But they want to put The Rock on as many things as possible to get the eyeballs. I get it.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, the guy knows how to hit a post.
Oh yeah.
If you're radio, he knows that. He knew exactly how much time was left, and he knew when he had to speed up for the smell what the Rock is cooking when they're about to drop out of time. And as much as you want to say he bored the shit out of him, like Tim Wilkes said, it drew their 3rd highest ratings ever. NXT history. I think it's 994, I think it was. 994,000 watch that episode on CW.
So I have a question.
Yes.
For you, gentlemen. What would you do with Ava Raine? I mean, she's clearly... There's something lacking there. Actually, there's a lot lacking there.
You say, yes, Dwayne, we'll keep her on. Because she's not hurting anyone. It's not hurting anything.
She's not wrestling.
And for all we know, like, it just could be how long has she been doing it for? Like 2 years? Like, she's going to get the hang of it eventually, you would think.
Well, it took her dad a couple of years, and then he was the hottest act on the planet.
Yeah, maybe she just needs to turn heel.
Could be.
As GM.
Yeah. And Tim said she's a great GM for NXT because she's young. She's what NXT exemplifies. The young version of these other two shows, which is great. Lachlan and I talked off air about it. Like, it's taken them a while, but they've gotten Lexus King over because he got a massive pop when he won that thing. A massive pop, which is good to see. It's good to see the hard work he's been putting in some hard work. It's good to see that paying off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And he's got a good opponent in Dempsey. Dempsey's a great foil for him because he can make anyone look good because he's great. So,
Moving over to the other side of the American pro wrestling scene, AEW is going to have Dynamite Maximum Carnage on next week on the 15th. That's right, Venom had an offspring, and no, wait, that's a comic. Here we go. Jon Moxley is going to defend the AEW World title against Powerhouse Hobbs. We definitely could see a title change there. Kenny Omega is going to take on Brian Cage in a match that actually has the opportunity to blow the roof off the place, which could be really exciting. Christian Cage going one-on-one against Hook. And in a really exciting match, Toni Storm is going to win a women's casino gauntlet.
If she doesn't, I swear to fucking God, I'm going to rain fucking hellfire on this app. I swear to God, if they do not put her over in this fucking thing.
There is a women's casino gauntlet for an AEW women's title match at Grand Slam Australia, and there's no way if Toni Storm doesn't win, it's the stupidest booking decision any company has ever made in wrestling history, right?
Yeah, because it's an easy story to tell.
It's so, especially with her putting on the best promos ever. I don't know how she's gone to another brilliant character.
Yeah,
it's great.
Today's Dynamite was really good too because she was very upset after she lost it was a triple threat to be the first person into the gauntlet match, and she lost that match. And she's like, "Oh, I guess it can't be Tony time forever. If you don't win, you learn." And props to Statlander, and Statlander's an amazing work, and it's great. And Willow's really good too. And I guess it's just one of those things. It can't be but I'm gonna keep working hard, and I'm gonna so good.
It got me the other day. There was a promo of her going around backstage asking everyone if they could watch her match and just see if they had anything that they could, have her work on, and talking about how good the catering was backstage. It's like a mini city back there, and what a great character. I'm loving it.
Did you see her thing with AJ where the interviewer guy was doing promo, and she came in and she's like, "Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Have you seen catering? It's like a city back there." So she's clearly saying that in several things to get it over. Just so funny. So funny.
Yeah. Excellent stuff.
It is my contention, and I'm call it. I put it on my Twitter, but I'm gonna call it here so it's on record and on tape. This is timeless Toni Storm playing rookie Toni Storm. When she beats when she beats Mariah May at Grand Slam, she's going to accept that title like it was the Academy Award.
Mm-hmm.
And switch back to being timeless. You love me, you really love me. I want it to happen, but yet I don't mind if they keep her as rookie Toni Storm for a while. Because it's so good.
really excellent stuff going on. Let's talk quickly about some AEW/New Japan news here. NJPW commentator Chris Charlton raised some eyebrows during Wrestle Dynasty due to some inflammatory comments he made about both AEW talent and Tony Khan. These comments have now gotten him put on, quote, indefinite hiatus from New Japan Pro Wrestling, according to Dave Meltzer. He was noticeably absent from commentary at New Year's Dash, later reported by Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp that the suspension is for 2 months. AEW contributed talent like Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Brody King, and Konosuke Takeshita for the Wrestle Dynasty event, which was similar to their annual Forbidden Door show. Charlton referred to Khan as, quote, a money mark during Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd's co-main event match in an apparent attempt to add some fuel for the AEW versus New Japan angle. Among other comments, he also questioned what Okada, Jay White, and Will Ospreay have done since signing with AEW and unfavorably compared the Continental Classic to the G1 tournament. It's also been reported that it was not Tony Khan who was upset by these comments that led to the suspension, that it was the director of Bushiroad, the parent company of New Japan Pro Wrestling, who reacted immediately to this happening on the English broadcast with the suspension without apparently talking to Tony Khan at all.
I'm gonna say something that might actually shock you here. I kind of agree with New Japan here.
Yeah.
Like I think Chris Charlton found out in very short fashion that he is not a worker. He's there to commentate. Like, it's okay for Gabe Kidd, it's okay for Dave Finlay to go out there and say that stuff in promos. It's not okay for him to do it on the show, especially when it's not his role isn't as a heel commentator. His role isn't as he's very much like a straight line commentator on those shows. So that's not his role. Yeah, he's the play-by-play guy. Like, New Japan are very different and like it was funny because during the con you could see you could hear Rocky Romero getting nervous during some of the things he's saying. He's like, well, you can't really say that. And like when they were talking, like, I will agree with him. Like the G1, like the Continental Classic is nothing compared to the G1.
No.
It's just not. You can't. And Rocky to go. Yeah, for Rocky to go, oh, but you're traveling every week to different cities and, like, dude, you're wrestling twice a week maybe in this Continental Classic. The G1, you're wrestling every day for 2 weeks. It's a fucking drudge. It's hard to get through. 4 weeks.
4 weeks, and you have a day off in 3 most days. It's crazy. And that's why so many guys get injured for the G1. I can understand Tony not wanting to do the G1. But
he can't do the G1. He doesn't have the airtime to do it.
No. It's also the closest thing that mainstream American audiences will get to the G1, and it's actually pretty good. Like, matches match to match. Guys deliver. People deliver on that.
Look, in terms of what Charlton said about AEW here, like this article says, it was, building this story of Gabe Kidd representing New Japan against Kenny Omega representing AEW. But it's really easy to frame that as Gabe Kidd said, blah, 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 which is not what Charlton did at all. Right?
Not at all.
Charlton framed it as Gabe Kidd is the good guy here because he's from New Japan, and New Japan is better than AEW for all these reasons. Right? Which is not really the story that was being told. The story that was being told was, defending the honor and the style of New Japan, which if you want to say this is what they've said, that's one thing. And that's play-by-play, right?
Yes.
But
he didn't do that.
No, it was heel color denigrating a company that had provided a lot of talent to work on these shows. Right?
Yeah. So I know that might shock people, but I actually agree with what they did.
And not only a lot of talent to those shows, but they give people a place that pays to go and wrestle. If you agree with what Tony Khan does or not, that is beside the point. The guy is providing work for a lot of people that we otherwise wouldn't really see. And I think that that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I definitely...
Like, it was purely Charlton. I think Charlton was kind of feeling himself and thought, I'm going to see if I can get away with this. I'm going to see if I can get away with that.
I haven't seen the camera under the desk, and I don't particularly want
Oh, here we go.
But either way,
boom.
It was the wrong. He just did the wrong thing. He went into business for himself, basically.
Yeah, but then again, I was also thinking about it. It's a 2-month suspension. What really is he missing?
Yeah,
nothing.
He missed New Year's Dash.
Yeah, and that's the biggest show he's going to miss.
Yeah, because I don't think he does. Does he do the New Japan Strong shows? I don't think he does the New Japan Strong shows, does he?
No, he doesn't.
It's Vader Scott and somebody else, I think.
Yeah.
So,
no.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, look, and there's definitely like different roles, right? Like we will sit here and we'll say that we don't want to see Chris Jericho anymore. And that's us in the frame of a wrestling review show talking about what we would like to see as booking. That's different from someone who is representing New Japan as the voice of what is happening, saying that company sucks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like just
it would be like you commentating like say you were commentating the Super Show coming up.
Yep.
And all you did during the Super Show was run down Renegades of Wrestling. Like you don't do that. They're working as a partnership.
That happens. We got to have son.
This is exactly the point, right? Is that there's going to be like Queensland versus Melbourne, Brisbane versus Melbourne wrestling vibes to that. But that doesn't mean that I run down the company that is sending talent to work on this show with us and collaborating with us to get fans into a building and watch wrestling. I want fans to watch wrestling, and I want the people in that building to see more of the people who make wrestling in this company good, right? Like, you should want the fans to go and watch Kenny Omega's stuff so that they're more excited and more likely to buy a ticket next Wrestle Kingdom when Kenny Omega's on. Like, it doesn't make sense from any perspective, is my thing. But anyway, let's talk more about, let's talk about that Super Show, right? It's going to be off the chain, and it's coming up on February 14th. So if I were you, I would get your tickets now, because my document says that there is 8 seats left. I don't know if that is still true. But
that is accurate as of like an hour ago. I got a message from Jesse.
8 seats remain for the Australian Wrestling Super Show. It's the night before AEW Grand Slam, so if you're up here in February in Queensland for Grand Slam, it's the night before. It's easy done. Tim Wilkes has got his tickets. Get them through OzTix now. There
are 8 seats left. I don't know how much spots are left in the standing room only in the mezzanine. So, if those 8 seats are gone, there might still be room in the mezzanine, but I wouldn't be screwing around with it. Put it that way.
Yeah. Speaking of tickets that you shouldn't screw around with getting, Renegades of Wrestling, We Are Renegades 2025, Sunday the 9th of March at the Northcote Theatre. The doors are at 6 and the bell's at 7. It's a family-friendly event, and it's going to have the Renegades of Wrestling World Championship held in a triple threat match with Levi Nixon defending against both Emin Osman and Mitch Waterman. As well as that, the Renegades Rumble with competitors to be announced soon. There's also going to be more matches on that card, so absolutely get amongst that with Renegades of Wrestling. As well as that, if you're in Victoria, MCW Anniversary is March the 15th, just the weekend after at the Thornbury Theatre. Tickets on sale now, mcwtix.com.au. This weekend, right now, if you're in New South Wales, IWA has Summer Meltdown running from Wednesday, January 8th, which is yesterday as we record, through Sunday, January 12th, so get amongst that, as well as PWA's Let Them Fight on Saturday, January 11th, and Rock and Roll Wrestling's Rock and Rumble on January the 11th. That's this Saturday. And if you're over in WA, the EPW School of Pro Wrestling has Neon Genesis on Friday and Saturday, the 10th and 11th, so get amongst it. And while we're talking about big wrestling tours here in Australia, World Series Wrestling has some breaking news for Adelaide. Due to a scheduling clash with the AFL, Adelaide has moved venues. The show will now be held at the Adelaide Showgrounds in the Ridley Entertainment and Convention Centre. All tickets are still valid. Seating remains the same. There has been extra seating added. So if you haven't already and you're in Adelaide, you can get tickets to World Series Wrestling. I don't know if that's true for every state. World Series Wrestling is going on an incredible tour of Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Sydney on the 28th through 31st of March. Melbourne at the Melbourne Pavilion on the 28th of March, Brisbane at Eaton's Hill Hotel on the 29th, Adelaide now moving to, what did I just say? To the Ridley Entertainment Centre in the Adelaide Showgrounds, and Monday 31st of March for Sydney at Penrith Panthers, with a stacked lineup, including the man who is going to fight Kenny Omega in just a couple of nights. That's Brian Cage. You've got, World Series Wrestling champion Nick Nemeth. You've got World Series Wrestling International champion Shigehiro Irie. You've got, I'm just going to say someone who I'm so excited for, Danhausen. Donovan Danhausen, baby. Look, it's going to be such a good night, and I'll be on commentary in Brisbane, so if you're in Brisbane, come say hi at that show. Look, it's all so much fun. There's so much going on, so we need to talk about what the show is named for, because there's a lot of chicken salad going around, but let's see if we've got any chicken shit first. Jeff, I know that you haven't had a chance to watch so much this week. I've got to guess what your chicken shit might be, but I'll ask you, do you have any chicken shit this week?
Yeah, the orange shit stain is my chicken shit. What a piece of garbage that guy is. The crowd accordingly booed him because of his blatant racism, his fuck knows what else, and he's just an appalling human being. I don't want to see him on television anymore. I don't want to see him on WWE or AEW. Get him off my TV.
Get Terry off my TV! That's mine too.
I thought they were booing Jimmy Hart.
I didn't have to watch it. I didn't have to watch it, which is kind of good because, now when I watch it in a week or two, I'll just skip that shit.
Yep. Amen. I'm backing you up. Get Terry off my TV. Todd?
Yeah, I guess that has to be it because I can't really think of anything that was overly shit aside from that. I mean, there are other stuff that I don't really want to talk about because I don't want to give it the air. Yeah. And if you're watching and you know what's going on in a little bit of like somewhere in Australian wrestling, then you'll know what I'm talking about.
We mentioned
I'm not going to give it the air.
Goes worth talking about, I think.
Yes.
Let's talk about some more positive things. Jeff, I don't know, again, you haven't had the chance to catch much. Do you have a chicken salad you can talk about?
I actually have two. Firstly, obviously Robbie and Vegeta. I mean, it's just amazing. First ever ladder match, and Robbie walks out with the title. That's brilliant. Mine, and I can't tell you who it was. I was flicking through. I was doom scrolling on Instagram because God knows I've got to do something with no internet. It's something. So I'm doom scrolling through Instagram, and there's a young lady, and she goes, "I used to be a wrestling fan. I used to." And then what Kofi and Woods did to Big E, and she was seriously crying. She wasn't before, like wet eyes. You could see tears rolling down her cheek. And I was like, that is brilliant. Right there, that is brilliant. She's like, I'm never watching wrestling again. You can bet she's tuning in to see if they get their just desserts. Just brilliant. Really lovely to see. And it's been a great angle. So, love it.
Shout out to Alex Fireheart, who talks about their chicken shit being Noah the New Year and its availability. Basically, you can't get it in Australia legally. That's good fun, isn't it? How are we going to watch Noah the New Year? We're not for a few months. That's the answer. Frustrating.
Alex, is it like, I have no idea about this, but can you possibly use a VPN to do that?
You can, but again, like, this is me speaking for Alex here, which...
Yeah, please do. If you have the answer, because I was just wondering, because I'm just like, why wouldn't you just use VPN?
Well, they have mentioned that they'll have to wait a few months, likely to see it legally So
yeah, the answer is if you're going to use a VPN, you're already breaking the law by streaming it internationally, which you're not supposed to do by streaming.
okay.
So if you're going to break the law to watch it, I don't know that paying for a pay-per-view is the path you would take. Right?
Okay, sorry. I'm just like I'm thrown because,
yeah,
like all the when Fightful advertised their VPN service, they advertise that as being a big part of it. Is that you can say that you're here and get this stuff for different prices. So are they just advertising that you can do stuff illegally?
The exact legality of it is a bit questionable.
Okay.
Right? Like it's not definitively illegal. I think that's what it comes down to.
Is it a grey area?
It's a grey area. It's a grey area. We'll need to get Bleach Japan involved. Alex Fireheart says it'll end up on Wrestle Universe eventually, like the AJ Styles show did, but it'll be a bit of a wait. Tim Wilkes says, my chicken salad is the new HQ for Suplex Pro, the Suplex Arena. Hooray! Todd, do you have a chicken salad?
Let me think. Actually, no, I have a chicken shit and I forgot about it. Jesus Christ.
All right, serve it up.
Okay. My chicken shit is people already complaining about the catalog that's on Netflix for WWE. They're like, oh, there's only 3 episodes of this year of Raw on. There's only fucking of this year. Were you really going to watch those episodes? Were you really going to sit there and watch every episode of Raw from 1999? Were you really going to do that today?
Yeah.
Is that what you're angry about?
Give them a chance. It's going to take them a while to upload everything and all that stuff.
The fact that they loaded as much shit as they had already was
impressive.
Yeah, because they'd uploaded all the Manias, all the Rumbles, and the little pay-per-views as well. I don't know if they'll have the WCW and ECW stuff, but I'm hoping. Like they unfortunately they've got the worst ECW pay-per-view of all time on there, but hopefully there'll be more ECW stuff.
Absolutely. Let's quickly jump in on Alex Fireheart's combined. They made a shit salad. The ref called to end the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match after Doki's injury. It sucks that the injury happened, but the ref called it very quick, so kudos there. Seconds after the replay showed he landed wrong, he called it. Yep, fully agree with that, Alex. It was the exact right call to make. He made it extremely quickly for the well-being of the competitors, and it meant the show could go on.
It is the anti-Ibushi. It really is. It's the anti-Ibushi. A perfect example of what should be done and what should have happened last year at the same time.
It sucks that they didn't get to have the match that they wanted to have. I would have loved to have seen that match in full. But the right call was made and no further injuries were caused because the right call was made. And the match didn't go on and have a sloppy performance with someone in pain because the right call was made. Andy Fazaria says chicken salad is Buddy Matthews. He's the most underrated in-ring wrestler in the world. From Roman Reigns to Mustafa Ali to Ospreay, this guy will have a friggin' banger with every kind of wrestler. You're absolutely not wrong, Andy. Dude can work.
Yeah, 100%.
Todd, did you have a salad?
Well, my salad was the thing I brought up with you earlier with Lexus King.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that, and he took a lot of shit when he moved from AEW to NXT. A lot of shit with people going, why is he doing this new name? This thing isn't going to work. Why is he doing that weird thing with his beard now? I don't understand this, blah, blah, blah. But he's just been quietly working in the undercard. Quietly not trying to be complaining that he's not being, pushed as the number one guy, not doing any of that, just working behind the scenes quietly and just plying his trade, and it's starting to pay off. With success doesn't happen overnight to everybody, and you have to work at it. And he wasn't wrestling for years before he started with AEW either. I think one of the go on, mate.
Can I just give you a compliment?
What's that, mate?
And I don't like to give you compliments, just you. Anyone else? Why not? I'll give them to you. Todd, that is an excellent chicken salad. That really is. I think that's just a beautiful chicken salad. Well done, mate. Because I think he's clearly working hard to get better and put himself in better positions. And that's all you want from a wrestler.
Yeah. And because I know he hasn't been like working extremely long, because I think, and I could be well off here, I'm pretty sure he went to a Lance Storm Academy with one of the guys from Riot City not too long ago. So, like, he hasn't been doing a hell of a lot, and he got a good leg up because of his name, and, like, hey, that's the advantage you get. You use what you can when you get. That's not your fault. Like, it just happens to happen for you. But he hasn't taken that as, like, I deserve this, I deserve that. He's just working hard to get better, and it's paying off.
Absolutely.
How far that goes, we'll see, but it's paying off so far.
Additional chicken salad from Alex Fireheart. Wrestle Kingdom's one of the few shows that they've watched in full in months. It was actually a damn solid show top to bottom for the most part. They think the main going 43 minutes was a bit much, but otherwise liked it. Fully agree. One of my chicken salads has to be both Konosuke Takeshita matches, especially. I think that that night one match with Shingo was just exactly my style of wrestling. Bloody ripper of a match. Was very impressed with it. But my other chicken salad is going to be NXT New Year's Evil, a really stacked show which had 17 wrestlers on the card, and 2 of them were white dudes. Right? Like, we there's often times where we point out when there's not women on cards, when the cards are getting dominated by men. Let's celebrate when we've got a show that has, what did it have? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches on it. And it went women, in fact, 2 women of color. And then it went a women's fatal 4-way in which 3 of them were women of color. And then it went 6-woman tag. And then there was 2 white guys. And then there were a main event with 2 black guys and a Native American guy. Like, that kind of diversity is something that we've been screaming for a long time.
I just want to know when us white guys are going to get a break here. I mean, that's just bullshit.
But the
opinion
should I hit the stinger? Sorry. Sorry about that.
The fact that that show can go on and be just a really excellent show, and it not be something of like, we're the diverse brand. Like, it's just that the wrestlers are that good on that show.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, for that New Japan weekend, like, Gabe Kidd and Omega, of course, so it's right. But that IWGP women's title match, like, amazing.
Delivered and then some.
Yes.
Right?
Please tell the people what the names are, because I'll butcher them if I say them.
Mayu Iwatani and Azumi.
Yeah. Please go and check, if you get a chance, go and check that match out, because it is one of the, like I said when we reviewed it, I'm a neophyte when it comes to Joshi wrestling, and I haven't really watched a lot of it, if not any of it at all. Those 2 blew me away watching that match. It was such a good women's wrestling match that
Azumi doesn't have bad matches. She doesn't have bad matches, ever. And she's been that way since she was a young girl. She's just fantastic. Massive fan of Azumi.
And again, it's like putting those matches on a show like Wrestle Kingdom, broadcasting what those women can do to that much wider audience, I think is really great. And I would love to be broadcast to a wider audience as well. So if you could go to Apple Podcasts, do a 5-star review, just share the links around, really spread the love, get us out there. It really makes a difference. While you're at it, you can follow us. You can follow us at Wrestle Radio AU on X and on Instagram. We're Wrestle Radio Australia on Facebook. We're twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia, where you can hit follow. Subscribe to the podcast too. It's free. It's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can subscribe to Wrestle Radio Australia for free. And you can also get some merch. Head on over to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia. The merch is on there, and the proceeds don't go to us. They go to Beyond Blue and Gotcha for Life, 2 awesome charities that support mental health here in Australia. And if you want some other merch, you can head on over to kickout.com.au. They've got your favourite Queensland wrestlers merch on there. There's also other wrestlers from around Australia getting added. If you are a wrestler and you want to be added to Kickout, out, make sure you head on over to their Insta page, get in contact there so you can get amongst that. Hey, Geoff, you've got a thing that says WrestleBrania behind you. What's that?
We are going to Adelaide. Yeah, WrestleBrania, the comedy wrestling panel trivia game show extraordinaire. We're going to Adelaide for the first time, the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th of March at Arthur's Art Bar. I am now going to announce our partner. Every time we go to a city, we partner with a wrestling company, and ours is, who else could we pick? It's got to be Riot City Wrestling.
Woo!
Yeah, the best from Riot City are coming along. They're going to have a lot of fun with us. We're going to be announcing talent really soon. Find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, because when we announce this talent, tickets are already moving. Like, we're already selling, but tickets will accelerate, and we've only got 90 seats. So make sure you get yourself a ticket. Get it soon.
And you'll remember to send me the ad so I can actually play them on these shows, right?
Yeah, once Bros is done. We had a chat today. Bros and I had a chat today, and he is working on it. We're just waiting. We're gonna do that a talent announcement in one drop. So
wonderful. Anything else you want to mention, Geoff?
About WrestleBrania? Yeah, we're going to Melbourne as well. So we're not just going to Adelaide. We're going to Melbourne. We're back in Melbourne, our new home, the Burgee Band Room in Brunswick. We like the Bs. It's the Triple B. So we're at the Burgee Band Room in Brunswick.
No more cheesesteaks?
No more cheesesteaks, but they've got amazing pizza across the road. Really phenomenal pizza from Munchies. A pizza place named Munchies. Guess what that guy likes? We got great pizza at Munchies. We've got great beers at the Burgee Band Room. We love the Catfish. We still have a great relationship with them, but we want to mix it up. We want to go somewhere new, and we have great talent to announce for that as well. Can't wait to do that. Tickets to both Adelaide and Melbourne available now.
Wonderful. Todd, do you have anything you want to mention before we wrap it up?
Not for this weekend. Next weekend, Mitch and I will be at UPW for a match against Jesse Love, which will be great. It'll be fun to do. Like I always like traveling up the coast to go and get booed at by a whole different audience.
That's right. I believe that's at the Banana Bender pub. Is that right?
Yes. Or so
I
I'm
may not
led
make
to
the
believe.
trip. We'll see.
Right you are. I have to.
Yeah, sucks to be you. Anything else from you, Geoff?
No, I think that'll do. It's great to be back. And next week, on Wednesday, I get my Wi-Fi installed.
Yay! So look, from me, I just want to say that we are coming into another year of making chicken salad, and as always, it's going to be an absolute thrill. There is so much great wrestling coming down the pipeline internationally, but especially here in Australia. So obviously, if you're one of the people who watch or listen, I'm sure that you already take this advice, but get along to every local wrestling show you can. Australian wrestling is the bloody best. That's what we're here to push. That's what we're here to talk about. We love wrestling. We want you to love wrestling. And especially we want you to love Australian wrestling. So go get along to those local shows because it is the best entertainment going. I'm going to say on behalf of Geoff Setti and Todd Eastman, I've been Lachlan Albert. Till next time, have a good one.
Anti-Bushi.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it.